Well, I'm going to let Sandy introduce herself and give us a little bit of her background when it comes to singing and songwriting. And all right, Sandy?
Wow. Well, I grew up in this town. My dad's a musician. He worked with Harry James, and that's when he brought us here to town. And I grew up watching other artists performing on the big stages in Las Vegas. And when I was 4 years old, actually, though, I started singing. My first intro into the great singers of that time was Frank Sinatra, and I remember I sang to Frank Sinatra songs. But I came here, I grew up here, I was involved in performing, I was in the Miss Nevada pageant, I traveled around the country working as a singer, and then I came back and I got involved in doing different production shows here. Then I went to L.A., I did music there, and then I came back, and here I am. But I started traveling to Nashville, around the country with my husband because he's from Indiana, and I ended up going down to Nashville because I was writing songs, and I said, well, I want to get my songs demoed. So I went to Nashville, and I started going to some of the NSAI workshops, Song Camp 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I met a lot of songwriters that helped give us education about the structure of writing songs and also about the business of songwriting. And there's so much involved in that. And I recorded my first album there, which was called This Time Around, which was actually all standards, but then I also recorded my newest album, which is Indiana Rain, which has all originals on it, except for one cover tune.
What have you learned about publishing? Because I know you publish a lot of your own work as well.
Yes. Well, there's a lot of different ways to do it. Also, as a songwriter, you can self-publish, which when you're first a new songwriter, you can automatically be your own publisher because what you're doing is you're putting your music out there. Okay. Then, as you build your body of work, and and you copyright everything, of course, as you're going along.
Right.
But as you build your body of work, then you'll begin to approach other publishers, and you can go to different workshops at NSAI. I mean, either at NSAI, but also at BMI, ASCAP, CSAC. You can go to a lot of meetings. If you can join one of those organizations, and they're the ones that monitor what music is played around the world. Well, mostly in the United States, and then I think it gets a little different once you get around the world. But
now we're gonna talk a little bit here about song structure. Sandy, I'm gonna let you read this because we were talking early before the show, and you have a little bit to add here. So, would you like to read the part about the structure of music forms?
Yes, this is very
technical.
Structured.
But bear with us.
The structures or musical forms of songs in popular music are typically sectional, repeating forms such as strophic form. Other common forms include 32-bar form, verse-chorus form, and the 12-bar blues. Popular music songs are rarely composed using different music for each stanza of the lyrics. Songs composed in this fashion are said to be through-composed. This form can be used in any structural difference in melodies. A common format would be as listed: verse, pre-chorus, chorus, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus, middle eight.
How about explaining that, please? Because that's kind of technical there. So
I think one of the best books for songwriting is The Craft and Business of Songwriting, which is by John Berhaney. And I think there's various newer versions than what I have, because mine is, I think, from the 80s. But it was one of the first books I got, and it simplifies things. And what they do is they call it for instance, AABA, which means that's a structure of a song. You'd have the title and hook in the first or last line, and then you have another verse. So the first verse is A, your second verse is A, and then your bridge is the new melody or lyric, and then you come back to another verse. Then you'll have variations on this theme, like AABA, BA, and A again. Excuse me, that's where you have the verse, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, verse. So these are things that you learn in the basic beginning songwriting courses that you could take at NSAI, for instance. That would be Song Camp number 1. There's a song that I wrote, and it actually began when I was in the jacuzzi, and I had just had a wonderful, wonderful fight with my husband. And I'm in the jacuzzi, and I'm relaxing, and I said, "Don't tell me I can't. Don't tell me I won't. Don't tell me I never will, 'cause you'll be sorry when I'm gone. Don't tell me it's way too late. Don't tell me I'm past my prime. Well, don't tell me I don't fit the mold, 'cause you only waste my time."